My name is Uchenna Minis, Chief Market Analyst with Eagle Global Market. Um, Today's webinar will be centered around price action, real-time price analysis. Basically, we'll just be looking at different asset class or instruments and we'll trade accordingly. Now, we would try to make this very interactive, so you're allowed to put out your questions or any instruments that you have that you want us to talk about. We'll look at it together, and yeah, we'll trade that, or we'll look at the trade setups, or look at the outlook that concerning that instrument. Aside the looking at the market or analyzing any form of this instrument, we can also put our questions that concerns trading, and I will do my best to answer them. Yeah, and that's it. So prior to us starting or going further, we can just confirm if you can hear me clearly by typing a yes or a Y in the chat box, or typing a no or an N in the chat box, right? And you can also put up your questions in the question box and chat box, and we'll kick off in a couple of minutes. So I'll just take some minutes to wait out for your responses. Just wait out your responses. Just kick off and just start. Just to share my screen, everyone. So I'll just pick up a particular instrument and see which one we can trade. So let's go to FX. Yeah, this CHF, we put out a particular trade setup on this one on Monday, and we had some profit in our account yesterday, right? So right, so this is a 15 minutes chart. I'm just going to try and look at a bigger frame, let's say 4 hour. So right. So first thing first, once you're looking at a particular instrument, depending on the strategy that you're looking to look for, the first is to identify the current buyers, right? The current buyers, right? So in this case, if I zoom all of this, I can see in here, not clear cut. I'm just picking this frame. So I'm using a particular frame, which is the 4 hour frame in this case, as my baseline, really, to get the underlying price movement. So I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that this is choppy a wave, this is another wave, this is a wave, and now this is happening. Now, what is clear is that looking at this information, I can see that this is a top, this is a support, top, when I mean top, I mean resistance, and this is a resistance level, is a support, resistant level, support, resistant level, and now we are having price trade to this point. Now, if I want to be not quite objective with this data that I have, I would just highlight and put in and try to put in those levels so I know exactly. So I'm just going to say rectangle. I think rectangle will work. So I can just come here and say, all right, just come here and say that is that. Can come here and say this, right? And I can also come here and say, probably change that. And I'm saying another area should be this. Then if I want to go further, I would say, so that's, so I'm picking out the areas of support and resistance. So here, so basically I've highlighted this, I've shown this, I've seen resistance is where price is resisted, so we can see our price is hitting like a form of ceiling. It couldn't go beyond here, came back here, did the same thing, came back here, did the same thing. So I can come here and say, I have a miniature support level here. So instead of drawing a rectangle, I might just draw a line, a horizontal line, to cap it, to say this level of support, so we can see price having some, yeah. So yeah, so I can highlight this and say this is a support, like a mini support in this move, right? So here we are looking at a possible range, right? With this data that I have. And don't be too bothered with too many information. Some things don't really concern you because you're not trading in that space. Now, another person can look at a higher time frame or a smaller time frame and see something entirely completely different. And it's not that any of you is wrong. It's just that the perspective, the threshold at which you want to trade, I mean threshold when I mean risk reward, is entirely different. So don't go ahead and trying to force someone else's style or ideology on yourself. That's just entirely, in short, you have failed. Pick up your design a strategy or a trading style that fits your personality. That's how you can stay successful in trading. So I've done that. I've picked out this data, and that's what I want to trade. I'm not going to bother myself with any other thing. I'm just going to work with this. Now, I push and I push, and I told you is to pick the current trading bias, the current trading bias, the current trading bias, right? Try to find the current trading bias. So in this case, I'm expecting price to, it has done hit here, and I'm expecting price to at least, because you're traded below this miniature support area, I'm expecting price to at least come to this level to test this, at least to test this, if it's not going to break beyond here. So what we did based on some fundamentals is that we highlighted the downtrend of this move. So I'm just going to say channel is just to help us highlighted the downtrend of this move. So I'm just going to say here and do this. So I have highlighted what I did before. So let me just do that again. What I did before was a stagnant resistance and support, right? Support, price has come here to find that ground level, bounces up to this ceiling level, came again, found this support level, bouncing up to this ceiling level, came again, broke beyond this miniature support level, found this relatively significant or major support level, push it up, broke beyond it. So that's why you could see that this area is kind of not as significant as these other ones, right? Because price can easily break through. Now it has hit this level, and now it's trading, and it's trading below that level within that area. It has broken below and it's trading within that area. Now I have gone further. To highlight, draw another level of support and resistance, but this time they are dynamic. They're not stagnant. You can see this resistance level, see that they are moving. Price is hitting this line, this area, and it's moving downwards. The same way you can have the support, you can see that it is, for a downtrend, we know high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and now a possible lower high. Support, that's a low, 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 and low. You can see that this low is lower than this low is lower than this low, and this low is lower than this low. Now, in this case, if I'm trading these, understand my overall bias, excuse me, is to the downside. That's my overall bias. Now, price is trading and is trading towards this point. Price is trading towards this point. If I'm looking to execute any trade setup, what I'm looking for right now is for price to trade around this area and start to trade downwards before I can look to sell. So I already have my overall bias. I'm just waiting for price to confirm if my bias is right, because I could be wrong. Price to get here, break above, and continue to push and push up onto this space, right? I can't predict the future. However, I can maximize the odds to be in my favor. That's basically what you can do. You can skew that probability odds of winning to be in your favor, and that's why you have that risk reward and risk management feature where your stop loss comes in. So I'm just going to wait, in this case, to wait for, I've gotten this high, I got this low, I got this high, you can say I got this high, I got this low, got this high, got this low, or this low, got this high, got this low, got this high, got this low. Now I need a fresh high to consolidate that this would continue to go down, and that's what it is. I understand that the characteristic feature for a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows. So I'm just waiting for price to hit one of this area, confirm to me and start to trade downwards, then I can look to sell. And if I start to sell, I'll put my risk just above here or above here, depending on where my threshold lies, right? But I could only execute this based on this info that I have, and I could realize what is currently happening. I don't need, for my time frame, this is what I want to trade, right? So this data works for me. Someone else would not see this. So another person can look at a very, very small time frame compared to what I'm using the 4 hours, and see that this is a possible push to the upside, right? And trade this accordingly. Now they are looking to just take those points between this point here and this point here, right? That's what they are looking to do. This point here and this point here. While me, I'm looking to trade to start selling from this point here to somewhere even far below here. So you can see that both of us are correct, but we have different perspective, different vantage point. And that's how it is when it comes to trading the market, right? First, pick your bias, understand the underlying, the current price movement, and trade accordingly. And then once you can do that, you can be able to determine how you want to execute that bias. Then you go in for your risk reward management, right? You always don't look to risk more than what you want to gain. That's how you stay profitable, and that's how you continue to win. Because when you lose, and cases where you get to lose this trade, you'll find out that because you understand effective risk reward management, your losses are negligible compared to your wins, right? So let's start taking questions for what are the MA settings. When you see MA settings at Detola Osijo, maybe the one on my chart, so I'm just going to show you how it's been placed. You can go to EGM Analytics to watch crossover strategy to identify buy and sell signals. You will see there. So if I take this out, I'm just going to take this out. So if I take this out and I say add studies moving average, $50, done. Right? The first one, the period for the movement is 50, done. I'll put, and that 50 is called the lagging moving average. It reacts slower to price, it's heavier. And I go again and I select 20. Right? This is the leading moving average, and it's faster than price. So put that in, change the color so I can differentiate. And that's it. Now, the moving average will serve to work for me if I'm using it as a crossover strategy, right? Every time price trades above the two moving averages, it's the buy signal. So in a case like this is the 4 hour. Anytime price trades above the two moving averages, is a buy signal. Now, for a buy signal, there needs to be a confirmation of a crossover. So you can see these two moving averages crossing over here. So the crossover is referred to as the buy signal. So price starts to print after this cross, right? Prints above the two. The leading will be the first one because he leads, then the lagging follows suit. So it's that I continue to buy. Now it gets to this point. For the sell signal, price needs to print below the two moving average at the crossover. So you see this crossover, but the difference between the sell signal crossover and the buy signal crossover is that this one is crossing, the sell signal crossover is crossing at the high. It's crossing at a high, we call it a swing high, while the buy signal, crossover signal, is crossing at a low. That's just the difference, but it's the same thing. So you can see that the lagging moving average, the leading moving average reacted first, then the lagging followed suit. And since then, they have not really crossed over. And you could have, if you just rely on the moving average, you can still continue trading this until you see the reverse in the crossover. So if you're using a sell signal crossover, you can decide to hold that trade until you see a buy signal crossover. That's when you close your transaction. And you can have that for the reverse. If you buy using the buy signal of the crossover strategy, you can look to sell when you see the sell signal of the crossover strategy. Right? So if that's the question, yeah. So that's basically it. We can look to share other information. We'll be looking to release a couple of trade setups the coming week. Probably we'll try to do that every day. We'll try, depending on how we see the market is giving. We're not going to force trade. So once we see opportunities, we would jump in there. Right? So if that's all, if you don't have any questions, you can look to end the sessions now. Right. So right. Yeah. Would look to talk or look to hearing from you guys or communicating with you guys next week. Have a lovely weekend and good luck trading.